What's going on, family? Let's talk about what really happens when I fall in love as a dismissive avoidant. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I'm Eleanor and this is Dismissible Me, where I speak only about dismissive avoidant attachment from the perspective of someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. Please like, share, and subscribe. Find me on Instagram. Check the playlist. All of my information is down below in the description box. And getting right into today's topic about the L word. What really happens when I fall in love as a dismissive avoidant attacher? And number one on my list is probably not shocking to anyone, and that is I'm going to recognize that I feel very deeply for you, but I'm going to keep those deep feelings to myself about you. I'm going to avoid verbalizing these feelings to you, and I'm going to avoid, acknowledging these feelings to myself. It's going to be a little minute before I actually decide that I'm going to allow myself to start to think that I'm in love with you. And I feel like that was a whole mouthful to get to a certain place. I recognize it, like this narrative that people with a dismissive avoidant attachment style don't know what they're feeling. I don't think that that's it. I definitely know what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. It's more of I try to rationalize what I'm feeling before I allow myself to feel the feelings. That's how I'd best describe it. So for me, I'm going to rationalize it before I allow myself to feel it, and I'm going to keep it to myself. But what I will not be able to keep to myself, and I'll expand on a little later in this video, is my behavior is going to shift. When I feel deeply for you, when you matter to me, when I am emotionally invested, I show up for you. My behavior changes. You're going to know the way I feel about you by the way that I treat you, by the way that I behave towards you, by the way that I am when I'm with you. So you will know. Another thing that happens when I fall in love as a dismissive avoidant is I will begin to struggle with wanting to spend more time with you, but also understanding my need for space. And I kind of mentioned this in the previous video. Again, like and subscribe, check the playlist. In the previous video, I had mentioned that I do not, and not just several times, but in the beginning of meeting somebody, dating, getting to know someone, I will not contact you or reach out to you, try to see you more than what I know that I can maintain down the road 6 months from now. So while I may want to spend more time with you 3 or 4 days out of a 7-day week, right? That push-pull, internal push-pull between, yeah, I want to spend more time with this person, but I don't want to set myself up, nor do I want to set you up for any disappointment, awkward situations where things are normal. Comfortability has set in, right? I enjoy your presence and I want more, but I understand my strong urge for personal space and my need for alone time. And so for me, early on establishing the boundary that I'm a once to twice a week on the phone, or really texting is my preferred method of contact kind of girl, that's what I do. And it's not for lack of like, but it's definitely I don't want to set us up for failure. I feel like there's so many other things that could go wrong. There's no need for me to make an error in this area. So once I recognize that I have these deep feelings for you, I will struggle with wanting more time with you. I will want to spend more time with you. That's not a question. But I also fully understand that there will be a point in time that after the hype dies down, I'm going to want to go back to doing what I was doing before I met you, or what was normal in the relationship prior to you, which is I like to be by myself for the majority of the time. So there's that. The third thing on my list that I struggle with when I start to fall in love as someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style is I'll start to worry about losing attraction over time. So again, looking down the road, I feel very strongly for this person right now, but we've only been together for 6 months and now I'm starting to get these feelings. How am I going to feel 6 months from now when it's been a year? How am I going to feel in 12 months, 18, 5 years from now? This is when I start to look at that. And so while I get that it's exciting and you're giving me the warm and fuzzies and I'm playing all the great 90s love hits, right? When I think about you, it makes me nervous to think about when comfortability and familiarity sets in, what can start to happen? Could this situation start to deteriorate? And this is where I recognize that I start focusing on flaws. This is where flaw finding starts to kick in with somebody that I like. Now, flaw finding can happen to anybody, like the Chappelle show. I could be an equal opportunity hater. But specifically speaking, when I like someone, when I have these deep feelings for someone, I will worry about losing attraction down the road and not wanting to set myself up or you up, this other person up, for unnecessary pain, unnecessary drama and a falling out that I'm hoping, that I feel like I should be able to anticipate if I just pay attention, if I just really think about it and think logically about the situation. I should be able to know pretty definitively, like I'm Miss Cleo, what the outcome's gonna be. The fourth thing on my list of things that happen when I fall in love as a dismissive avoidant is I do really desire to have a deep connection, but I fear having that deep connection with you at the very same time. So again, like that push-pull with wanting to be closer to you and spend more time, but also understanding that I'm going to need space later and not wanting to set myself up for failure. That's the same way I feel about being vulnerable. You could be sharing something with me, or you could not have shared anything, but I feel like this is the right time, this is the right place, I'm in the right frame of mind, like this would be the right time for me to be vulnerable with you. I could be vulnerable with you, and then I could have what I like to call the vulnerability hangover, which is like, oh shoot, did I do all that last night? Did I really say all that? Did I really let this person in like that? So now my gut instinct is to protect myself because I might have let you in too soon. Maybe now I'm questioning. Now I'm going back at how much time we've been together. How much do I know about you? This, that, and the third. So now I'm wanting to protect myself from any risk of vulnerability, from any risk of... It has less to do with like judgment and rejection. It more has to do with the judgment and having someone feel that I need to change, should change, giving me their personal opinion on something that I could have shared with them, being vulnerable, but maybe I didn't give them the full story because, I'm just practicing being vulnerable with you. And here you are giving these strong opinions and you don't even know, you know what I mean? It's a laundry list of things that could go wrong, but I do, when I realize that I have these deep feelings for someone, want a deeper connection. But I also am afraid of the risks, and I do understand the risks of opening up and letting somebody in and it not working out. And when I say not working out, I don't necessarily mean the relationship, but I could be vulnerable with someone who I thought was safe and they're really not a safe person, and now they're throwing things in my face. Yikes. So That's that push-pull. Another thing that happens when I fall in love as someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style is I will start to, and I did mention this earlier, overanalyze the relationship, and I start to fear losing my independence. I can start to find myself at this point questioning whether or not what I'm feeling is logical. Am I really feeling what I'm feeling, or do I need to dissect what I'm feeling, or think that I feel a little bit further? Do I need to write it down and try to quantify it? Or is it not so much that I'm questioning my feelings, or is this situation too much for me? Because maybe I am having these deep feelings, and maybe you are checking all of the boxes, but I'm not sure if you're really checking all the boxes, or you're still locked into the game. Before I just allow you to have the ability to pull the rug out from underneath me, I'm going to overanalyze and reanalyze this relationship, how I'm feeling, what's been going on with me and you, your behavior, what I've seen, what we've spoken about, our actions matching words, this, that, and the third. And then, even though I have these deep feelings for you, I still will get nervous that the relationship will consume me and be too much for my personal space. So it's not just that the relationship may be too much, that maybe it is too good to be true. It's also is this relationship going to encroach on my personal space? And I do think about, has my personal space changed since I've been with this person? Because some people, because of the way they allowed me to be myself, things move faster and I was more comfortable with them. They got more of me. Whereas with other people, it was always surface level, but then it clearly didn't last that long. My personal space bubble can shrink or expand depending on the person. If you're low key, low pressure, we get along very well, it's always good vibes when I'm with you and when I'm without you, and it's not a lot of pressure, it's not a lot of weirdness, my personal space bubble is a lot smaller because I enjoy my time with you and I enjoy my time away from you. If you're doing a whole lot, my personal space bubble is a lot bigger. Think bubble boy. Okay? I'm not going to allow you to get too close because I'm afraid that you're going to take away from my independence. But somebody who is allowing me to just get closer to them and is not threatening that, well, then the situation is different. But I will start to overanalyze the relationship, my feelings, what you've been doing, this and that. And then I start to fear losing my independence and what that really means. And am I ready for that? The last thing on my list here of what really happens when I fall in love as someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style is I will begin to show my love through my actions, not my words. And this is something that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is I'm somebody who shows you how I feel about you. I don't feel like I should have to say that I love you. It's just uncomfortable. If you're not my grandparents and a select few, my cat, it makes me feel uncomfortable. So I would prefer not to tell you I love you, but I don't mind being held accountable if you feel like I didn't show up for you in a way that you felt like I should have, as somebody who does love you, whether I say so or not. So for me, I'm going to show up. I'm going to come to your events. I'm going to support you. If you need help with something, I'm going to offer to help you before you ask me to help, type of thing. Like, I'm going to try to foresee what the problem is and try to help you with that. I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to figure out what your love language is other than personal touch. Okay. And I'm going to try to meet you where you're at. I'm going to try and master that for you. So that's what I want to do, because I do desire to show up for you in a certain way, because I understand that I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you that I appreciate you. I will tell you that what you just did for me was amazing. Thank you so much. I'll do all those things. But the one thing I won't tell you is I love you. I will not. So I show my love through actions, not words. So to summarize, what really happens when I fall in love as a dismissive, avoidant woman is I feel deeply, but I'm going to keep the feelings to myself. I struggle with wanting more time together, but also understanding my need for space now and down the road. I'll also start to worry about losing attraction over time. I desire a deep connection, but I will fear it at the same time. I will start to overanalyze the relationship and start to fear losing my independence. And I will show you through my actions that I love you, not through my words. I will jump through hoops to show you that I love you through my actions and not through my words. Family, thank you so much for tapping in. Like, share, and subscribe. Check the playlist. Find me on Instagram. Let me know what resonated with you. Drop your attachment style, where you're watching from. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And family, I will be tapping in with you very soon. Keep it real.